after 46 game weeks in Sky Bet League 2, we are down to 4 teams that will contest the 2024-2025 League 2 playoffs. Now, I am recording this on the night before the first playoff game between Notts County and Wimbledon. And in this video, I'm sort of going to predict both semi-finals and predict the final to see who I think is going to make a place in League One next season. I'm going to go through all the stats and all that for each game and sort of give my opinion on it and basically go through each of the 4 playoff teams and then ultimately give my prediction for all 4 games and the final. So we will start in alphabetical order. We'll start in order of where they finished in the table. So first up, Walsall. You look at Walsall and it's mad, isn't it? 14 points clear they were, I believe, on January the 1st or in January. Their run of form has been awful going into the playoffs. Obviously, they beat Crewe on the final day to try and get automatic. We know, obviously, Bradford pipped them to that. A loss to Accrington at the Bestcott, a draw at us, at Rodney Parade, a 2-2 draw against Harrogate, a loss away at Barrow, a loss against Port Vale, a draw against Walsall, a draw against Wimbledon. Their previous win, apart from the final day of the season, was the 22nd of February against Morecambe. A team in absolute turmoil. And they're lucky that they're in the playoffs, because that would have been some fall off if they didn't even get the playoffs. They looking at the table in terms of where Walsall finished. They finished on 77 points in 4th. 75 goals scored. They obviously did finish as the top goal scorers in the league. And it's sort of, it was mental how it happened. They were so far clear of everyone else and they just completely and utterly fell off. But, sort of that annoyance of missing out on automatic promotion by a point, lost the title by 7 points in the end, which is crazy to think that a team that was so far clear, in the end, 7 points off the title, 3 off second and a point off third, and the last automatic place. Again, they will want to win this playoff badly, because obviously the embarrassment of how they sort of fell off in terms of so far clear in the league. But that is Walsall. Let's have a look at 5th place Wimbledon. So then, 5th place Wimbledon, as I mentioned, finished in 5th. 4 points behind Walsall, 5 points behind the automatic places. Don't score many goals. Wimbledon, 56 goals in 46 games, and obviously concede 35. They're not a prolific team. You look at all the teams in the playoffs, all the teams in the playoffs score goals. And I think that's going to be a massive factor to why I don't think Wimbledon are going to make it. You look at Walsall scored 75. We'll look at the other 2 teams as well. They score a lot of goals and they've got a lot of threat in their forward line, which I think ultimately I don't think Wimbledon have. In terms of their form going into it, they lost on they won on the final day against Grimsby 1-0. Lost to Port Vale before that and losing to Gillingham, drawing 0-0 with Chesterfield. Then they had a 1-1 draw at Doncaster, beating Harrogate 1-0, losing to Swindon. So they're coming into it, again, not an amazing form, and I don't think, based off the form, they are the favourites for it. And I don't think, apart from Chesterfield, any team really comes into the playoffs with any sort of, solid form. That's why a little bit of a hint to my prediction later on in the video. But, that is Wimbledon, and yeah, they don't score many goals, which is their issue. Moving on then to 6th place, and that is Notts County. Now, Notts County finished on 72 points, 5 points off Walsall, a point off AFC Wimbledon. 68 goals scored, 49 conceded. Again, a team that do score goals. They've got Fret, they've got Jatta, they've got McGoldrick. They've got players in that team that can really affect the game. Obviously, Will Jarvis as well, someone that I really rate at this level. They have got players in there that can really cause the opposition damage. The final game of the season was a 2-1 defeat to Doncaster. Before that, it was a 3-1 win at Harrogate. Before that, they lost 2-1 at home to Cheltenham, 1-1 draw against Bradford, a 3-1 loss to Salford, a 1-0 loss to Colchester, and a 3-0 battering of MK Dons. And looking at, again, that run of form, losing to Doncaster, all right, they beat Harrogate, losing to Cheltenham, drawing to Bradford, losing to Salford, losing to Colchester. The form going into it, again, with Notts County is a worry that I have for them personally. I don't think they're coming into it with much form. And so when you come into a playoff, you want to go into it with form. You want to go in it with confidence. And the three teams that I've mentioned just haven't come into it with any sort of confidence yet. But they have got goals in their team. They have got a good defensive record. They have got, the tendency to, find a way of just get like a 2-1 win or a 3-2 win. They've done that a lot this season, and they've found ways multiple times. And yeah, could they be a shout? And then the final team is Chesterfield, finished on 70 points, 1 point above Salford, 2 points above Grimsby, 3 points above Colchester. So, 4 teams sort of battling for that 7th spot. And Chesterfield, joint second highest goal scorers in the league, 73 goals, 54 goals conceded. And in their last 5 unbeaten, 3 wins, 2 draws, including 2 back-to-back wins against Accrington and Morecambe, 1-0 and 4-1. A 3-3 draw against Bradford, 0-0 draw against Wimbledon, 3-0 win against Fleetwood, and before that a 1-1 draw at home to Gillingham. Chesterfield are the one for me. I think Chesterfield are the one that I generally think can, do a lot of damage in this playoff. They've got goals in the team. As much as, people look at them, they're 7th, they sneaked in. They have got goals in this team, and I think the way you break it down in terms of they've not gone out and out, main man who's at the top of the goal scoring charts, like obviously Michael Cheek, Jatta, McGoldrick, Stevens, all of players apart from Cheek are in the playoffs, and it does sort of give you that confidence of having a player like that. But also you've got to look at the fact that they are in it with form, and they are coming into it with form. They have got goals in the team, don't get me wrong. They have got goals in the team all throughout, and you may look at it thinking like, they do concede quite a lot of goals, because they do. They do concede quite a lot of goals in terms of games where it's tight and sort of when they need to dig deep and find a way. But as I said, playoffs is not just a lottery. I think that you also have to be good to come through the playoffs. But in terms of the last 5, they're the team in the best form. They're coming into it, back-to-back wins, and sort of they haven't lost in 6 or 7, I believe it is. So Chesterfield could be a shout. So that is the 4 teams that will contest the League 2 playoffs in terms of the teams that's in there. And let's get into it. Let's predict the 2024-2025 League 2 playoffs. So then we're going to start off with the first game, of course, which is Notts County against Wimbledon at Meadow Lane. Tough one to call. I am going to go for the home side. I think they've got goals all throughout the team. Jatta, McGoldrick, Jarvis, their defence is solid as well. And I do think that coming into the season, they were one of the favourites to get promoted. And just hasn't really happened in terms of an automatic promotion bid for them. I do think they're going to get past Wimbledon in this one, and I'm going to go with a 2-1 scoreline. The second game then sees Chesterfield take on Walsall. Now, this is a massive game because, Chesterfield have got to take something to the Bestcott. I think if this is 1-0, 2-0 to Walsall, there's a chance that Matt Sadler's team will just sort of sit back on the lead that they have going into the home leg, and make Chesterfield come at them. Essentially, that could work in Walsall's favour, having Chesterfield push forward and then hit them on the break with their deadly attack. I do think, though, that the Spyrights are going to get the win in this one. I'm going to go with a 1-0 Chesterfield win. I think they win in the first leg. Again, Walsall, the drop-off and the whole mentality right now in that club would be absolutely all over the place because of the bottle job that has happened from leading the league to potentially not even getting promoted, which is mental. But yeah, I'm going to go with first leg scorelines: Notts County 2, AFC Wimbledon 1, and Chesterfield 1, Walsall 0. Let's have a look at the second leg of the semi-finals. So second leg, first game sees Walsall take on Chesterfield. In my prediction, I've gone with Chesterfield to take a 1-0 lead into this one at the Bescot. And I'm going to stick with my gun. I'm not going to jump on the fence. I am going to go with Chesterfield to get a 1-1 draw at the Bescot to take them to the League Two playoff final, where they will meet either Notts County or Wimbledon. And yeah, I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw. I think maybe Walsall get the first goal. They make a bit of a tie of it. Obviously, that would level up at 1 apiece on aggregate. And then I think Chesterfield find a way to level up on the night. And then obviously go on and win the tie at 2-1. So I've gone with Walsall 1, Chesterfield 2 over... or on aggregate over the 2 legs. And then the second semi-final, second leg, sees AFC Wimbledon take on Notts County at Plough Lane, with Notts County taking a 2-1 lead into the semi-final in or at Wimbledon. And I'm going to go with a 2-0 Notts County win. I said it when I was talking about Notts County, about they've got that threat going forward. They've got the pace, the power, and the goal-scoring ability in the final third to really hurt Wimbledon. And I think that's exactly what they will do in this one. I'm going to go with a 2-0 away victory for Notts County to send them to the League Two playoff final with a 4-1 aggregate win over AFC Wimbledon. Of course, none of these predictions are stonewall. I could get all of them wrong. I could get everyone right. It's the whole point of predicting, I guess, and the whole point of, trying to predict who wins each game. But yeah, I'm going to go with 2-0 Notts County. So that then would set up the final of Chesterfield versus Notts County at Wembley. And this would be a good game. This would be a good tactical game between two good teams, two good coaches, two good systems, and two good sets of players as well. Obviously, it'd be a massive occasion for Chesterfild. Obviously, getting promoted last season from the National League to do back-to-back would be mad. And sort of going back-to-back from the National League to League One isn't irregular. It does happen quite often. So it would be something that you wouldn't bet against if you was a betting man. But at the League Two playoff final, I would go with Chesterfield 2, Notts County 1 after extra time. I think that Chesterfield will beat Notts County after extra time to secure their place in League One. And yeah, those are my predictions. Notts County to beat Wimbledon over 2 legs, Chesterfield to beat Walsall over 2 legs, and then Chesterfield to win after extra time in the playoff final against Notts County. If you have enjoyed the video and have enjoyed my predictions, please make sure to smash a like on the video, subscribe as always, and make sure you tune in for the watch-alongs for the League Two playoff semi-finals. I won't be live for the final, and I'm not going to it either, so I'm just going to do a watch-along for all 4 semi-finals starting tonight. Obviously, the time of recording is on Friday night, but this will be uploaded during the day Saturday. So yeah, those are my predictions. Let me know yours down below in the comment section as always, and please make sure to smash a like on the video on the road to 4,000 subscribers. And yeah, hopefully we get some good playoff action in League Two. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you in a video soon. Thanks.